ॐ शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुकारस्त्वन्दकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So, we are doing this sutra and we have seen that in all the verses in the first 3 lines, Bhashyakara is negating what I am not. He has been saying that I am not this, I am not that. So many such notions have already been negated. But we must keep in mind that the notions which are mentioned here, manaha, buddhi, I am not the mind, not intellect, etc. These are not the only notions which we entertain. There are thousands of notions born of the lumping together of consciousness and the gross and the subtle body. Depends upon the person. So, this is just an example. But on these lines, we have to think and then negate all the notions which are born. We should also be able to find out that this is a notion and this is not the truth about me. This also we should be able to discern. And for that, what is the rule? The rule is that we are now given some familiarity with what is consciousness. Consciousness is mere existence, knowledge and happiness. Whereas all the qualities, all the limitations and inertness belong to the body. So keeping this in mind, we should be able to discern a notion and then we have to negate it. As we are told earlier that I am not Panchakoshaha. Bhashyakara mentioned the 5 sheaths. One is the Annamaya. Annamaya means the gross body. The notions born of identification. Can we put on this fan? Yeah. Smaller. Thank you. So, when we take this gross body to be I, then whatever are the attributes of the gross body are automatically superimposed upon this. Then there is the other layer, the active personality. See, there are 5 layers of personality. Keeping this in mind. This is here. It is there. See, the second one was Annamaya, then Pranamaya. Because of the sheath called Prana or the vital air, the notions which are born are pertaining to the active personality about me. Then the third one is because of the Manomaya, I take myself to be an emotional person. There are emotions in me. Actually, emotions pertain to the mind. But when I join with it, then I become an emotional person. Then there is an intellectual person also, intellectual personality. That also belongs to the mind. That also belongs to the Antahkarana. But when I join with that, then there are notions that I am so and so, I am a doer, I am an enjoyer, I am this, that. And then the other one was bliss sheath. What is that? Because of that, the notions arise that I am an enjoyer. Now this enjoyment is of a different kind. The enjoyment coming from the objects is of a grosser nature. Whereas this enjoyment comes from certain experiences. When a person evolves spiritually, if he is a devotee, if he is a great yogi, then he experiences he has certain experiences also. He sees certain things. Let me tell you, even sometimes Lord will also appear before him. That also can happen. But the wise man, or what is our rule? That whatever I experience, I am not that. That is in the field of experience. Even if you see the form of Bhagavan, understand that this is the highest level. It is a very beautiful thing. But still, understand, what we are talking about here is that I am merely Chit and Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. So even if even if you have some such experience, understand that is also born because of your bhakti, because of the purity of intellect, because of the force of devotion, but even that is not your true nature. That's a beautiful thing. It is not an ordinary thing that Lord appears before Meera. But what appears will also go. It is also a form which you see, you are enjoying that. It is altogether a different experience, but even that will pass. You follow, all that comes in Anandamaya Kosha. Anandamaya Kosha also means that I am an enjoyer. I am enjoying something. There is an experience which I am enjoying. What is the truth? I am not even an enjoyer, not even a seer, not even a witness. You follow? So, in this way, always keep in mind that whatever I am aware of, that I am not. I am the awareness in the light of which the experiences or objects, or you are aware of something. You are mere awareness and not what you are aware of. Okay? So now we will proceed further with verse number 5. So I just wanted to tell you that these are not the only notions, but there can be many others. But always keep in mind this, that whatever I see, whatever I experience, whatever qualities are there, I am free from that. So now we proceed. न मे मृत्यु शंका न मे जाति भेदः न मे मृत्यु शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म पिता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं Now, Bhashyakara says, Name Mrityu Shanka. So, there is absolutely no doubt or possibility of death in me. This has already been told earlier. But still here, because death is such a thing, death is the mother of all the fears. All the fears are born of the fear of death. You know? So Bhashyakara says that in the self, in consciousness, which is my true nature, there is no death. So you need not be afraid of death. Death means coming to an end. Death means the thing is over. Again, it will come in the other form, but this form is once and for over for you. In consciousness, there is no death. Death is of that which is born. That death is of that which has come into existence. That which was not before, that which was not at a certain time and place, that came into existence. It lives for a certain time, and then again there will be a time when it will not be. Posterior non-existence, prior non-existence. Body has prior non-existence, because if you are born at a certain day at 9 o'clock, then you were not there at 8:55. So that is called prior non-existence. That applies to body. Then there is posterior non-existence, which means if a person happens to pass away at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., then he is not there at after that time. You follow? So this applies to gross body, not to the self, not to the consciousness. Because even when the body goes, the subtle body goes somewhere else, as we have already seen. Departure of the subtle body from the gross body is called death. And entry of subtle body into another gross body is called birth. But both of these phenomena apply only to the ahankara, not to the self. We have seen here, where is our other, that bucket thing? Yeah. Sorry. No problem. See, this sun is reflected here. This is what? This is consciousness. Consciousness identifying yeah. See, this is consciousness. And what is this? Reflection. Which means jiva. Consciousness identifying with this one, and reflection in this is called jiva. Now, what happens at the time of death is that, as we have already seen, this bucket is left here, and the water gets transformed into another bucket. The water in this bucket, the bucket can no more hold the water because its time is over. So it falls apart. The bucket falls apart. And the water gets transformed to another bucket. And this one also will now be reflected here. This one will be now reflected here. But what happens to this? Absolutely nothing. This we have to understand very closely. Death does not belong to self. Otherwise, if you think that I am this, then you cannot escape the fear of death. I will narrate to you one incident in Raman Maharshiji's life. Raman Maharshi, as you must be knowing, was a very, very great saint. When he was of the age of 16 year only, that time, what happened? Suddenly, all of a sudden, one day, he was gripped with the fear of death. He was a very ordinary person, not very clever also in studies, etc. And then, suddenly, all of a sudden, one day, he feels that I am going to die. And such a terrible feeling he had. But then, he experienced the whole thing. He said, okay, that he's about to die, and he died also. The body is now gone. It is being taken to the crematorium ground. It is being taken. This is all he saw. He visualized the whole thing. And then he is put on the funeral pyre, and then it is lit. At all these times, at all these stages, he said that I could see that this is all happening. This is all happening to the body, and I am watching it. I am the witness of this. This was a clear-cut upadesha to him, teaching to him from Ishvara, or maybe because of his past experiences. This came to him, with such a force. This whole experience came to him, and from that day he said that I absolutely overcame the fear of death, because I saw that body is dying, it is being cremated, and it is burnt to ashes, but I am watching. I am the witness of even the phenomena called death. And it was so solid, such a solid experience for him at the age of 16, that after that he said, I have never but never experienced the fear of death. Why? Because I saw that I am separate from it. I am different from the body, and body dies. Body goes through many changes. There are disease and old age and everything. All the changes. And I am the witness of the body. He needed only this much. He needed only such a strong experience, but that was enough for him. After that, he knew everything. Of course, he did lots of penance and everything. But what I am saying is, this was the only thing by which he was hooked to the knowledge that I am consciousness. Similarly, here Bhashyakara says, Name Mrityu, this applies to everybody. This applies to each and every one. Why? Because all of us are consciousness. Consciousness are not many. This is just one. Reflections are many. So, there is no death to the death of consciousness. That is what Nachiketa also asked Yamaraja. You imagine his teacher was Lord of Death. Nachiketa's teacher was himself the Lord of Death. And he is asking to this Yamaraja only that what happens after death? You tell me what happens after death. Does the soul or the self continue to exist or it ceases to exist? Tell me exactly what happens. So Yamaraja said, you ask me any other question other than this. You ask me questions other than this one. You are too small for that. Nachiketa said, then you better not answer any other questions. If you want to fulfill your boon, because you have already promised me, then do this. Otherwise I am Brahmin. I am a Brahmin boy to whom you have promised this thing and now you are not fulfilling. Be careful. A Brahmin boy can even curse. This is not what he said, but Yamaraja had to say this. He gave him blank check. You better ask, you ask for anything. Any wealth, any riches, any name, even I am ready to give you longevity. You can live as long as you like. And not only if you have a long life, but there is nobody now left with you. Then what to do with that long life? Everybody is gone. That will be a pain, a big pain. Nobody is left. Only I alone exist. He said, no, I will give you long life with your bandhus and mitram and wife and everybody. You live with them. He said, how long can you give me? Shobhavaha. All that which you give are not going to remain tomorrow. Even if you give long, it will not be the eternal thing. One day it has to come to an end. What after that? Again they're back to square one. I don't want all this. You keep this dance and riches and wealth and everything to yourself. If you want to tell me the secret of death. Then Yamaraja had to say that yes, Atma has no death. So most of our Gita comes from Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad, lot of big source is taken from Kathopanishad. Why? Because Gita also deals with death. Arjuna's problem is death, death of near and dear ones. And Kathopanishad also the main theme is death. Knowledge of the self with reference to death. But here, same thing Bhashyakara says, that Name Mrityu Shanka. Atma has no fear or no possibility because it is not born. It is not within the confines of time. That which is within time can go away. But Atma is not within time at all. Time doesn't touch. Just imagine. Time cannot touch Atma. Space cannot touch Atma. In fact, both time and space are within Atma. Due to Atma. So, then, Name Jati Bedaha. There are no caste and creeds in me. There is no such division of caste, etc. in me. See, all this, we live in this. We live in this. Whatever we have taken, all this which are notions, are taken to be real by. Our life is built on this wrong foundation. I'm Brahmin, I'm Kshatriya, I'm American, I'm Britisher, I'm Indian, I'm Muslim. Oh, so many. We take this to be real, which is okay in society. For Vyavastha, for a certain organization, for a certain setup, and for function, all this may be required. But this does not belong to the self. Self is not of any caste. Self has no caste. Self has no gender. Self has no height. Self has no weight. We sometimes think great of ourselves because I am Brahmin, I am such and such, I come from that community. You know who my father is? But who are you? Your father may be great, but who? Hey, today is Father's Day. I cannot speak all this. Today is Father's Day. That is coming now. It will come now. So, Name Jati Bedaha. These are these divisions, all these divisions come here. This may be of one caste, this may be of another, because this is born into that. The body is born into a certain caste. It is born from parents. It belongs there. But what about this? See, this may be Brahmin, this may be Kshatriya, but who are both this? Which has no caste or creed. See, this happened to, I'll narrate you, this is not easy. These things are so deeply ingrained in our psyche. Once when this happened with Bhashyakara's, it may be a story, but it happened in his life. One day, in Kashi, he was passing after early morning at 4 o'clock with his students. He was passing from Ganga, he took shower, etc. And he had filled his kamandalu with water and he wanted to go to Kashi temple, Vishwanatha temple, to do Abhishekam to Lord Shiva. And he was going. It was early morning time, 4 o'clock. So naturally it is little dark. And all the streets in Kashi, they are very narrow, very, very narrow. Hardly two people can pass together when he's going at that time. At that time, suddenly a very, very huge and stout and very healthy person came before him. He was very dark. This fellow was very dark and huge, and along with him were certain dogs also. So, out of the habit or whatever, Bhashyakara happened to speak like this. Gacha, gacha, oh, go away. Please go away from my... Why? Because he had taken shot. See, Brahmins, naturally he is now going... certain things are there in our mind. That I am going to temple, so nobody should touch me. All these things are there in a Brahmin's, which was fine. It is beautiful. But because of that, he happened to speak like this. Oh, go away from my path. Let me go. So the Chandala, that person is saying, Dvijavara means twice born. Twice born means you are Brahmin. You are a man of knowledge. When you are asking me to go away, please tell me, Annamayat Annamayam Athava Chaitanyameva Chaitanya. He said, understand this well, that when you are asking me to go away on the side, are you asking this body which is made of Anna and this body, means your body and my body, which are made of Anna, which means food, 5 elements, both are same, huh? This body is made of 5 elements, this body is made of Anna, both are same. Are you asking this to go away one from the other? Both are same, and still you see the difference. See here itself, at Annamaya, what I am trying to say, at this level also there is similarity. Let us... This is also made of 5 elements. All the bodies are made of 5 elements only. This is also same in everybody's case. So are you asking me this one packet of 5 elements to go away from another package of 5 elements, or little higher? Chaitanya meva Chaitanya. This is Chaitanya. This is Chaitanya. This is Chaitanya. This is Chaitanya. Where is the difference? Duri kartum vanchasi kim. When you are asking me to go away, who are you asking to go away from whom? Moment Bhashyakara heard this, he fell flat. He said, one who knows this, one who has this knowledge of the oneness, the one abiding in everyone, whether Brahmin or Kshatriya or anybody in this whole creation. There are varieties of people, varieties. Some are learned, some are less learned, some are absolutely not learned. They don't know how to speak, walk, talk, anything. But still, they are If you all come and some of the people are totally what they are. And still, who is in them? What is reflected in them? The same consciousness. Same consciousness in all the different forms. Same gold in all the different ornaments. How can one be removed from the other? Where will you remove? There is no place where consciousness is not. Bhashyakara needed only this much. And he said, one who knows this is my Guru. Whether he is Chandala means one who, in India, Chandala is the one who remains in the crematorium ground, and it is his work to see to it that the body is placed properly and then cremated properly, and then everything is to be removed. This is his work. So naturally, people have some reservations. Reservations are, if you look at the function, if you look at name, if you look at form, but not when you look at one who is there in that form. You see? So, here Bhashyakara says, Name jati bhedaha. Narsi Mehta, and so there are such great people, who had absolutely no such distinguishing thing in their mind. Sarva bhutastam atmanam. The same Atma, the same self is in each and every being. Not only human beings, even the lowliest of animal, lowliest of things, each and everything. There is sarva bhutastam atmanam. The same self is there. And in the same self are all beings. Self in all of us, and in the self, all of us. You follow? In all the bodies, one self, and in the self, all the bodies. Both ways there is just one. So where are these differences of caste and creed? Don't distinguish yourself by this. Don't create a notion. Don't create some superiority complex, and don't feel inferior also because I'm born somewhere. This is what is being said. Then comes Pita naiva me naiva mata na janma. I have no father, I have no mother, nor have I father and mother, nor am I father and mother. Both ways. I do not have a father and mother, and I am also not father and mother to anyone. Both ways. Pita naiva me naiva mata. Who has body definitely is father and mother. It is born of father and mother, but not consciousness. That doesn't mean that in vyavhara or when we are interacting, we disrespect we don't consider our parents. No, not that. In interaction, do whatever is to be done. Do whatever is to be done according to your role, according to your duty. This is all what we saw in Bhagavad Gita. But inside, you should know that these are all roles. These are all merely roles. This is not I am not a real father. Atma is not father. Otherwise, the anxiety and the stress and the responsibility, all of that which goes with being a father will never leave you. Father means, Swamiji used to say stress. Father means stress. Why? Because this son is not studying. Son is not graduating. Son is not passing. And he is roaming about the whole day. Not studying and doing all wrong things. Every day there are complaints for him. Now which father can sleep? Can rest at peace? Parents has big responsibility. Naturally parents have concern for their children. It is understandable. But you should know that I am not that. Don't let this relations exhaust you completely. Otherwise, if you take yourself to be father and mother throughout your life, you will never be out of it. See, what I am trying to understand what I am saying. As a role, you perform your role. That I am father. But you should know that even when I am playing the role, my reality is not father. I am beyond all this. Playing role is one thing. But even when you are playing the role, see, as such, there is no distance between the actor and the role which he plays. The actor plays a role of father. There is no distance between the actor and the role. But still there is distance inside. Still there is distance inside. So that distance is here. Not in the way you perform your role. You follow? This is what Rama showed us. Lord Rama showed us this. That when I am a son, I play to the best of my capacity. But in reality, I am not that. So, Name Pita Naiva Me Naiva Mata. I am not mother also. The same thing applies to mother. Again, Na Janma. There is no birth which could have gone with the death. Name Mrityu Shanka. So there is no birth. Self has no birth. This has been very well exemplified throughout the scriptures. We should self is not born. Self is not born at a given time. Then you may question that, but still, Swaminiji, we celebrate birthdays. If child is born to our place, to our family, how can you say that there is no birth? Birth is of reflection. Come back to our example. Birth is of reflection, not of this. If the water is there, if the bucket is there, and if the water is there, you cannot stop the reflection. Birth is of reflection, but not of the self. Or in our other example, this one here. See, this is the pot. These are all the pots. And this is the space. Space, when it identifies with the pot, which entity is born? Pot space. Space, when it identifies with the pot, who is born? Pot space is born. Is it really born? Did the space go inside the pot? Space is always there. There is absolutely no change in the space. But still, the pot has the capacity to create a notion that I am pot space. Different from the other pot spaces. Different from the other pot spaces. And then I am born, and then a time will come gradually. In the beginning there is growth, and then going down the hill. And then if we take this to be real, this is happening to me, who will not be unhappy? Who will not be sad? Everybody. Old age is not a simple thing. Old age is very difficult. Old age is beautiful. Let it be what it is. But understand, I am not that. I am not old. Isn't it nice to hear? Isn't it nice? It is a fact, we are not brainwashing ourselves. No, it is good to say I am not old. It is a fact. Say it proudly. With confidence, I am not old. Body is what it is, and you cannot stop the body from getting old. However hard you try. You may go to spa and this and that and whatever, That cannot, it will help. But it cannot stop. It cannot stop the body from aging. Why? Because it is made that way. It is bound to age. For aging, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. The wrinkles come with time. They come. But with wrinkles, we have to grow. Not aging, but growing. Aging will happen, growing will not happen. Growing means emotionally growing, internally growing. That we have to do. For aging, we need not do anything. Swamiji says, without this fellow doing anything, he will get married. That he will be ready to get married. He need not do anything for that. But to make a relationship work, he has to do something. That he has to do. That requires maturity. So, aging, but if you age and do not grow, then gone. You have to grow with age. So Swamiji says, all the wrinkles are earned by me. All the wrinkles are earned. Earned means with each and every wrinkle, more knowledge, more wisdom. If we can do that, we have to grow that way. Growing means knowing the realities of life. And the biggest reality is that I am not the body. Age is not to me. So, Pita naiva me naiva mata na janma. In the same fashion, na bandhuhu, na mitram, guruhu naiva shishyaha. Na bandhuhu. I have no relative. So relations are also with the body. Without our effort, we become auntie and uncle. What do we do for that? Moment a child is born, we get a new designation. Mama, uncle, auntie. Without our doing anything, we automatically become, why? Because body is related. There are relations with the body, but not to the self. Who is self related to? There is no other to relate to. If there was another consciousness, if there was another one, then there could be relation. But there is no other. Understand? Self is ekam eva advitiyam. Ekam means there is no one like him. Like him, like consciousness. No one like consciousness, which means there is no other consciousness. There is no one different from it. There may not be someone like me, but different from me. No. Ekam eva. And in me also, there is only me, there is only one. But in me also, there can be parts. Just as, I'll give you an example. Tree is one. But in tree, there are parts. The trunk is different from the flowers and branches and birds and everything. So in one, there can be many. This kind of duality also do not exist in this one. No one like him, sajatiya bheda na, vijatiya bheda na, swagata bheda na. Not someone like consciousness, someone different from consciousness, and in the consciousness also there can be internal differences. This is also not there. What a beautiful thing. Our heart is seeking this kind of oneness. Understand this. We are all consciously or unconsciously, directly or indirectly working for this kind of oneness, except that we don't know. We want this kind of oneness. When there is bond between two people, they do not like duality. No differences. Why? We want that. We should know that we don't have to do that. It already exists. There is this consciousness alone is. Even in so-called duality, there is just one. So where is Bandhu? Relative. Atma has no relative. That doesn't mean from tomorrow I don't speak to anyone, I have no relation. No, not that. I may do everything, but I should know this. And that is why it is very important, as I said yesterday, that you give time to yourself. When you are interacting the world, it is quite possible that you may get lost. And you take people to be real relatives, mother and father, and I'm real husband and real wife. It may happen. But you begin to give the space. Space means give time to yourself. Give more and more and more time to yourself. Sit back. Give yourself an appointment. And remind to yourself that I am not this. Go in the green room. You know the actors, when they are playing on the stage, they are there. In the green room, he is not a beggar. In the green room, when the Amitabh Bachchan meets others, he meets as Amitabh Bachchan. In the green room. Even though he is in the role of the beggar. Even though in the costume of a beggar. But he is still Amitabh. Similarly, we go to the green room. Which green room? Meditation. Nididhyasana. Be with yourself. That is why Bhagavad Gita also says that we should go away to some quiet place every so often. Take break from the work. Take break. Give quality time. Vivikta desha sevitvam. One should form a habit to be alone. Form a habit, always not company all the time. And always talking and talking and talking and gossiping. What is this? No, give time. The more you talk, more disturbed you will be. People don't realize this. Keep silent. Silence. Aratir jana samsadi. Always people want company. Oh, I'm alone, please come. No need. Be with yourself. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. And remind all this to yourself. Remind, I am this. The more you remind, more you make this lesson firm and strong, then a time will come that even when you are performing the role, you will remember who you are. This is to be done. Otherwise, the samsara and the duties and the roles are such that they will always have influence upon you. So, kate kanta, Bhashikara says, kate kanta kaste putraha. What is all this? Is the wife always your wife? Son always your son? Just in this life. Just in this life. Not always. It says, no? Bhashikara says, na bandhur na mitram. You know what happened? I just want to point your attention to this. All these relations are beautiful. We should know that. I am not decrying that. Enjoy your relations. But understand that these are not final things. This is just, we have all met together here. Tomorrow we'll be at somewhere else. And yet tomorrow somewhere else. Because destiny brings us together. The same destiny will separate us. In Bhagavatam there is a beautiful story where once a king, king had a son after a long time. He did not have any issue. And then a child was born. And unfortunately the child passed away after 5-6 years. The king is so sad. He is just king and the queen. Both of them are just not ready to accept this fact. Just not ready. And they go to the sage, and he says, bring our son back. You are Trikala Jnani. You are omniscient. You should bring my son back. The sages, that rishi or the sage is saying, it is not worthwhile. It is, first of all, it is not possible, and even if he comes back, it is not worthwhile. Let him go. The king is saying, no, attachment blinds you. He insists, no, bring him back. So, the sage with his powers bring the son back. The son is so angry, the jiva is proceeding with his journey. He says, why do you call me? Do you know that I was your father in the last birth? In this birth, you are my father. But do you know that in the past birth, I was your father? This is all there in life. We take this to be final. This is for For now, forever, father and mother and brother and everything, wife and husband. As I said, when you are living, don't say all these things to other. You are you are only I have temporary. No such thing. Enjoy, but understand in your mind the realities of this thing. One has to know this. There is no escaping this. These are the truths of life. One has to know the reality. Samsaroyam ativa vichitraha. Samsara is vichitra. Vichitra means this is its reality. Bhagavatam says that, in a river or in a lake, because of the force of the wind, the logs of the wood may be flowing. The wind may bring them together. Because of the force of the wind, the logs of the wood will come together. And they will remain together as long as that force is there. Then again the same force of the wind will separate them. This is how our relations are. We are together now, we'll go back. But if we get stuck here, we get stuck. No. And then when the separation happens, then we cannot proceed with our life. If we are not ready to understand this. So here Bhashikara is pointing our attention to this, that are you really Bandhu? You are not anybody's Bandhu and nobody is your Bandhu. And ultimately nobody can help also. We have to help ourselves. Others can, be guide. But understand, we have, each and every individual has to take their responsibility for our evolution, our knowing this. No, you know for me. My husband will say, you learn for me. You can help each other. You can complement each other. But ultimate purushartha or hard work is to be done by each one of us. So help each other. That is the best way to relate. After a certain time, the relation should be such, you help each other. But understand that the reality is this. Then again, see, Bhashyakara has no hesitation in saying, Gurur naiva shishya. Atma has no teacher also. Atma is not teacher. Atma has no teacher. And Atma is not a disciple also. All this in knowledge, again the same Bhashyakara says, not when you are learning, or not while you are interacting. In knowledge, non-duality. But when you are functioning in the world, respect the duality. Respect duality when you are functioning. But inside you should know that there is total non-duality. There is just one. Guru naiva shishya. Self is not guru. Self is not disciple. Guru is not anybody's name. Guru is teacher is with respect to the student. Just as for Arjuna, Lord Krishna was not a guru all the time. He became his teacher only in the battlefield. Only in the battlefield he saw a guru in his friend. But there is not, Atma doesn't have the name the teacher. No. I am not as, that is why in the verse which we chant as prayer, Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Nama. We are chanting this prayer every day. Where where the mantra says that Ishvaraha, Guru and Atma are one. Same Dakshinamurti means the same teacher, same Tattva in the form of Ishvara, in the form of disciple and in the form of the teacher. All are one. Costumes are different. So how can we measure the growth of life? The growth of life is, are we only at the level of costume, or can we discern the one who is wearing the costume? Follow what I am saying? Are you looking only at the costume, or have you been able to understand or discern the one who is in and through the costume? You follow? Are you looking only at the bangle or the necklace or the ring, or are you seeing the gold in the form of bangle, in the form of necklace, in the form of bracelet, any ornament? Growth is that. Am I stuck in the name and form, or am I seeing the substance? Seeing the substance here would be Asti Bhakti Priyam, as Asti Bhakti Priyam in the form of speaker here. Asti Bhakti Priyam or Satchidananda in the form of listener there. Same as Satchidananda in all these different forms. More we see this, more we will be with that. But first of all, we have to see that Satchidananda here. Once you can appreciate this here, then you will be able to appreciate it elsewhere. Because this has no boundary. That Asti Bhakti Priyam or Satchit Ananda here is no different from consciousness there. So once you know it very well here, that means you know it everywhere. Vasudevaha Sarvam. Everywhere there is one consciousness. So how many consciousnesses are there? One. How many forms are there? Many. Multiple. And forms of whom? Same consciousness. Same consciousness in multiple name and forms. Like in some movies, you know, the actor or the hero plays double role, triple role, many roles. Here consciousness is playing how many roles? All the roles. All the roles on the screen. He's such an actor. Such an actor. Imagine. This ordinary actors are nothing before him. He is that kind of an actor. Ishvara is not an ordinary thing. We miss him. We are so engrossed by the name and form and the costume that we forget who is wearing the costume. We forget and we miss who is wearing the costume. Wise man is one, Santa, or wise man is one who can see who is wearing the costume. He can see. Oh, this is not a servant. This is not a woman. This is not a man. This is Narayana or Ishvara in the form of this woman. This is growth. For this we have to be meditating on this. Repeat this all the time. Not merely repeating, understand. Then, further. Chidananda, that we will see in the end. Chidananda, I am not this and I am consciousness, which is of the nature of happiness and auspiciousness. Then, last verse. Aham nirvikalpo nirakar rupaha aham nirvikalpo nirakar rupaha vipurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyanam vipurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyanam sada me samatvam namuktir nabandha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham. Now, in this verse, he is not negating. He is showing what the self is. In the 4 verses, lot of negation has taken place. And now he says, asserts or shows what the self is. He has been showing in the last lines of all the verses, but here in all the 4 lines. See, aham nirvikalpaha nirakara rupaha. Can we go back to No. Is there anything behind this? Okay. See, aham nirvikalpaha. Aham means I. Now this I is not this reflected one. Generally, when we say I, it is this I being reflected, the I which is reflected in this body-mind-intellect complex. Now Bhashyakara is referring to this I, or this one, consciousness here. He says, what is that I? Nirvikalpaha. Nirvikalpaha means in which there is no duality. No duality at all. No second thing. No second thing at all. No boundary. No distinguishing factor. I am that. Then Nirakara Rupa. I am formless. This is with form. But I is without any form. Nirvikalpaha, which means there is absolutely no second thing. There is no second. And when there is no second, we cannot call it one also. One is always with reference to 2 or 3. But when there is no 2 or 3 or no second thing, that cannot be called one also. It is totally nirvikalpaha. Vikalpa means forms also. Vikalpa means thoughts also. Now see, we have already seen that there are so many charts now. All the thoughts happen here, or they belong to the mind. We have already seen this. There is no thought here. Thought means a mode of mind. Thought is also a subtle name and form. See, you saw this pen. Pen has a form and name. This object has a form and it has a name, pen. Now, you don't see it. But I still utter the word pen. When I utter the word pen, what is there in your mind? Pen thought. Pen thought is there. Pen thought has 2 things. Name, pen, and form, pen. The form is always with the name. Moment a name is uttered, there is a corresponding form with that. Supposing I tell you plate, then plate, with the plate goes the form of the plate. So, with all the names goes a form. If I say flower is a name, rose is a name. Along with the name rose, there is the form of the rose in your mind. Object is not there, but that name and form is there in your mind. That is also called vikalpa. That is also called vikalpa. Vikalpa means there is name and form. In the consciousness, there is no such form. See, when I tell you handkerchief, then handkerchief, the word handkerchief creates a name and form in your mind, as I showed you. But when I utter the word consciousness, which name and form came in your mind? If it comes, it is wrong. Because when I say handkerchief, there is a form. The name handkerchief creates a form, handkerchief, in your mind. In your mind there is a form which you see. Spectacles, glasses, I uttered. There is that form in your mind. Similarly, now I uttered Atma, self, Brahman. Which form? No, Swaminiji, we saw a big form. Round thing. All pervasive. that what is our rule? What is our rule? What I see is I am different from what I see. I am different from what I see. Now supposing I saw a form of consciousness, where will I be? I will be different from that. Do you understand what I am saying? Whatever I see, I am different from that. I am different from what I know, what I visualize, what I see. I am the knower and it is known. Now supposing when I utter the word consciousness or Atma or Brahman, and if you happen to see something, aura or something coming out, then you will be the seer and it will be seen. So consciousness is gone now and you are here. You are seeing it. And what you see now and then it is gone. When I utter the word book, you see book. And then when I utter the word blackboard, you see that. So one thing comes and goes. The forms and the pratyayas, the thoughts arising in the mind, there is one thought, then there is another thought, then there is third thought. So consciousness also will become a thought, which you see now and then it goes. You see and it goes. No. That is why what we say is that consciousness has no form. If it had a form, it could be visualized. This is very important. People say that when I am in meditation, I see. What you see, you are not. In Kenopanishad, a very important Upanishad, in Kenopanishad, the teacher is teaching everything. And then he is asking the student, did you understand well? Yes, I saw it very well. He said like that. The teacher said, you better go and sit and meditate because you don't know. Why? Because you uttered, I knew it very well. Which means I saw what student meant was, I saw very well. So if you saw something, that means you take consciousness to be separate from you. It is an object to be seen. Then who are you? You are the same individual. That means you have not understood anything. So you better go and learn. He did not teach thereafter. Because I thought you made a mistake. Now you go and do mananam. You contemplate. Student understood the mistake made by him. So next time when he comes, the teacher asks him, do you know now? He says, I know and I don't know. See what he says? I know and I don't know. What do you mean by that? So student is answering in the same language in which the teacher taught him. Student is replying, I know, which means I have understood what consciousness is. And when he says, I don't know, that means what? I don't visualize. You follow? I don't visualize. At the same time, I know that I am that. Consciousness is not an object of seeing because it is me. The drashta cannot be drushya. The seer cannot be seen. If the seer becomes the seen, then the seer is divided into two parts. One part I see. See, body I can be the seer and the hand can be seen. But we have already clarified that there are no internal differences also in Atma. So, Atma can never be seen because it is the seer himself. This is what is pointed out here. Aham nirvikalpaha. There is absolutely nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to smell. Just you. Nirvikalpaha. No thought also. Because thoughts you can visualize. You visualize that. Consciousness means nothing, mere being. Mere being. Awareness, mere concept of knowledge, mere knowledge, prajna. Aham nirvikalpah nirakara rupah. I am formless. See, if consciousness had a form, then what would happen? That which is beyond the form will not be consciousness. So what is the boundary of consciousness? What is the boundary? The body has a boundary. USA has a boundary. India has a boundary. All the continents have boundary. Planet has boundary. What is the boundary of consciousness? No boundary. If there was a form, that would be boundary. This house is mine. So that means beyond this wall is not my property. Not my property. Atma has no boundary of this body. Atma is not confined to this body. Body isn't the self. Self is beyond all this, which means everywhere. Everywhere means what? When we utter the word everywhere, you have certain forms in your mind. Atma or the self goes beyond that. There are no forms, nothing at all. Because forms come and go. They are within time and space. Self is beyond. Self is everywhere at the same time, even when everything is not there. Let me tell you, in deep sleep, this space, this time is not there. Is it there? In deep sleep, when you are sleeping, are you aware of space? Are you aware of time? When you wake up, moment you wake up, oh, it is 7:30, my God, now where will I? But before that, you were not aware of it. So what was there? What was there? Mere consciousness, which had no boundary, no form, no space, nothing at all. It is only in the waking state that we are aware of this space and time. In the dream state also, this time and this space has no entry. That means it is totally formless. Self is totally without any kind of boundary or height, weight, any forms. Name also is not there, really speaking. For teaching we have to use these words. So, aham nirvikalpah nirakara rupah. Then vibhur vyapya sarvatra. Self pervades everything. Just as gold pervades all the ornaments. Vibhuhu vyapya sarvatra. Similarly, the space, consciousness pervades everything. In consciousness is this planet, this universe and many, many other universes. In consciousness. But all of them may be there, may not be there. But consciousness is always there. Vibhur vyapya sarvatra. It pervades everything. Where? Sarvendriyanam. All the sense organs of action as well as, which one? Knowledge. Both these organs are pervaded by consciousness. Had it not been for this, we have already mentioned that the consciousness of this is first caught by ego, then buddhi, then manaha, then pranaha. Gradually it gets transmitted to all these levels. So, had it not been for consciousness, the eyes, ears, etc. also would not be in the position to see, etc. That is why the Kenopanishad begins with this way. It begins like this. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. How is it that my speech speaks? How is it that my pranas are working? There is someone, so teacher replies in a very cryptic manner. He says, because of the speech behind the speech. The teacher replies, The student asks, okay, what is this? How is it that the mind goes to its objects? Pranas keep on functioning. Eyes see. Ears hear. How is it that? So the teacher replies, it is because of the shrotrasya shrotra. The shrotra, the ear of the ear. Do you mean to say, oh teacher, that there is ear behind this ear? So we have 2 ears, 2 eyes? No. Shrotrasya shrotra means that because of which this ear has the capacity to hear. Somebody enlivens. Just as the blades move of the fan because of the motor inside. But the motor, blades may be there, motor may be there, but still who is not there? Power. If the power is not there, all your blades and all your motor. So the blades may be compared to the gross body. Motor is in the place of the subtle body. And electricity is in the place of consciousness. Very good. So, it is because of it pervades, consciousness pervades. And that is why the blades and the motor work. Sadam is samatvam. I am always saying, Sadam is samatvam. There is no rising and decline and increase in consciousness. Sometimes power becomes too much. Then you require what? In India we require for refrigerators, what we require? Compressor. We require compressor to control that thing. Stabilizer. Stabilize. For consciousness, what is required? To stabilize it, I am always same. Same. Samatvam. That is why Bhagavan says first remain composed in the vicissitudes of life, ups and downs of life. First learn that, and then you will be able to appreciate the sameness in the final sense. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahma is samam. Brahma means conscious is sama. Sama means same. Same means what? Always I am. And what is that? Happiness. I am Shiva. I am Ananda. This never in the morning Ananda, afternoon little less, and in the evening totally gone. Then again tomorrow it will come. No such thing. Always same. Na muktihi na bandha. Again this came. Na muktihi. It is not that I am free sometime. I become liberated. No. I am bondage and liberation does not apply to me. It could have applied had I been bound. We saw in that example of the cow. This concept of liberation is because of the notion that I am bound. If I think that I am bound, if this one thinks I am bound, now I have to liberate myself. I must do something. Then only I will be liberated. What has to be? We have to educate him that you are this. You are not this. So other guru comes, bigger one here, and teaches this one that you are already free. Free means you have never entered this bucket. You have not gone inside. So you are already free. So bondage, because of the concept of bondage, is the notion that I am free. Because all the while I thought, oh, I am bound, I am man, I am woman, I am limited. Everybody is after me. Everybody is persecuting me. So because you felt this very strongly, that is why when you come to know, you feel, oh, I found it. Now I am free. Like that in the story of the 10th man, you know. The 10th boy is lost. All the 10 boys have gone for picnic. And the teacher had told them, one boy is kept the monitor, he is appointed as a monitor, leader. Then and he is told that when you come back, please count and see to it that all the 10 boys are back, safe. So the picnic is over, and now they are returning back. So the monitor said, line up, everybody line up. I will now count. He counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my God. 10th one is lost. What will I now reply? What will I tell to my teacher? He's so worried. And he told all the boys, please, before we leave, everybody now search. We cannot leave without the 10th boy. Everybody began to search. They went up and down, below the mountain. Somebody swam in the river also. Everywhere, all the places are looked. They cannot find. Then an old man happens to pass by. And he saw all the boys were very anxious and worried. So he said, what is your problem? Then the monitor said, 10th boys, one of us is lost. He just looked at them. He looked at them. And he understood the problem. He said, I will help you. All of you line up. All of you line up. And then he counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you are the 10th man. You are the 10th man. So what did he feel at that time? Oh, I found myself. I found. This found, was it found that time? He was always there. But because he strongly felt that the 10th one is lost, so this phenomena made him feel that I am found. 10th one is found. But was it found? He was never lost to begin with. He was never lost to begin with. He was always there. See, in this liberation is also of the same type. Oh, now I am liberated, which means you were bound so far. Is it right? Atma is never bound, and soul always liberated. Always. Even when you think that I am in the ocean of samsara, you don't know what I am going through. Even then, tell yourself, I am free. I am free. But by saying that, nothing happens. By saying that, it happens. It happens. Because you are uttering the truth. Satyameva. This is the truth, that I am free. I am already what I want to be. I am already that. Keep on repeating. That will loosen the bonds of the notion. That will loosen, definitely it will loosen. Every time it will loosen. You are attacking. When you tell yourself this, you are attacking the ignorance. It has to go because it is not there. And this is how, keep asserting. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Bhagavan, Arjuna complains, oh Bhagavan, I cannot do this. You don't know my mind. He says, Bhagavan says, keep on doing. Keep on reminding this to yourself. Soham, begin with that. Not that I have to become that, but I am already that. I am already that. There is nothing more pious and beautiful than this knowledge. Because this brings you back to yourself. This is the only solution to all the problems of life. Otherwise, problem will be gone today and in another form it will come back. But this is the only solution. What solution? I am already free. I have to do nothing to get rid of samsara. I am fine where I am. Why? Because samsara doesn't touch me. In any role, I am the actor. B is A. Beggar is the actor, but actor knows that he is not the beggar. Beggar is actor, definitely. But actor knows that he is not the beggar. Even when he is crying and begging. Even when he is crying and begging, and tears are coming out from his eyes. He knows, oh, how well I am acting. How well I am acting. So keep this in mind. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are going, whatever duties you may have to perform, remember, I am Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. This is the only solution to the problems of samsara. No other solution. Because there are no problems. There are no problems. So with this, we now conclude. Just for 5 minutes, you can just sit quietly. We can just, we don't have much time, but still, just for 5 minutes. Everybody's, it's okay. Try to sit erect, straight. Always keep in mind, you may sit on the chair, keep a cushion, etc. if you want. And if you're sitting down, you should keep the base broad, so that your spinal cord is in the same line. Your head, your neck and your back should be in one line. Because there is always a tendency to doze off. And all the energies are also released when you sit for meditation. So it is better and advisable that you sit straight. And drop all the notions, all the roles, responsibilities, problems, all of them belong to the body-mind complex. I am not them. I am merely illuminator. I am witness. Witness is always different from the witnessed. Just be. You need not repeat. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am consciousness. Mere consciousness. I don't have to become anything in life. I don't have to achieve anything in life. I am fine as I am. I am already full. I am not related to anyone. Just be. Shivoham, Shivoham. This silence is my nature. from the silence arises the thought. It remains and it goes back to silence. I am silence. Silence is my nature. It is not nothingness. It is happiness, fullness. I am not a man or a woman. I am mere existence, mere existence. Shivaham, Shivaham. Just be. Don't try to see anything. Just be. Just Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye